Alright, I'm not going to be using my 12-inch armature this time. I'm going to save this for another piece another time. Light on my clay so I get that started warming up. What I'm going to do is a cowboy piece. I haven't done one for a long time. And like I showed you last week, I'm going to be doing a kind of a figure inspired by this guy's face. I've known my cousin Jake back in the 50s. Didn't look like this, but he was lanky just like this guy. And it's typical cowboy, although this is from the South. Anyway, it just speaks to my mind as far as what I'm seeing in my head right now. And I can't describe that any better than what I'm trying to do right now. But anyway, I'm going to take this board out of the way here. 18-inch armature. He's missing his feet though, and that's okay. I don't really need them. I'm just trying to see what I've got here. Yeah, I'm just going to basically have him just standing, kind of like this. I'm trying to decide whether I want to put him, have this, it's small enough that I could probably get away without all this support. And I'm just thinking it would be a lot simpler to do his back without the support than with it. So I'm just trying to think what I'm going to do. Diana Lisi, she's a friend of mine in Southern California, sent me this photograph of a cowboy that she has in her collection of photographs that inspire her or get her creative juices going. And that's what really got me going on this piece, was this back view of this guy who's obviously rolling a cigarette or whatever. But that's not what my guy's going to be doing. He's going to be completely different. But anyway, I just wanted to show you, these are the bat wing shaps I'm talking about, and we'll just see what happens. I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. Right now that's what the plan is. It could change. Alright, I got two 3-inch screws mounted onto the board. And all I need to do now is anchor this to the screws. So this is something handy to have in your studio if you're a sculptor, is electrician's tape, because it is tough and stretchable. Get the tape started on the shin bone of the gentleman. And I think I'm going to have to get another set of longer screws to give just a little bit more strength to this, because now that I think about it, there ain't a lot of there's nothing in the legs to make them not break. And so I got to figure out what I'm going to do. Now, I'm not worried about the screw head sticking out, because quite honestly it's going to be just about where the muscles are going to be anyway, and the boot and the shaft and everything else. But this gets it at least standing and ready to go. I'm going to put the arms out away from his body. Yeah, I want to get at least a real long screw to go up at least until to the knee joint, at least that long. Because this is not going to be strong enough to hold up. Or maybe what I'll do is just get some wire and put it on there. You got to remember that these armatures don't have wire going through this part of the armature. This is just cast resin And it's tough, but it will break, and that's something you got to watch out for. So now I've got him mounted. Just wondering if I shouldn't put the armature. Let me think what I'm going to do here. I've got to strengthen this a bit. That in there. Let's see what happens here. What I'm thinking of doing is running a wire that will go into the groove of this armature. A thinner wire than what I've got, or another aluminum wire like this, and run it through there, anchor it with the nut like I would anchor this, and then just run the two wires to there. All I want to do is I'm not worried about it sagging. I'm worried about it going back and forth like that while I'm working on it. So, now this baling wire is tough, but I want to make it tougher. And so I'm going to bend it several times. To give it some strength. Yeah. And then I want to crimp it tight, like that, and like that. I'll put this in there, and anchor it down. I think what I'll do is drop it down and then anchor it. Let's do it that way. Yeah, I talked to myself. I'm sorry. I got nobody else to talk to, so I'm my own best company. All right, I'm going to tighten that really good so it's not going to go anywhere. Now it's time to tighten it, not after you've got it all in place. Okay. Now, those are rounded, so they're not going to cut me. I'm going to move this out of the way and bring it straight forward like that. And then let's figure out where we're going to put it. The clay. And I'm going to bend it right there. So let's get this out of the way. And bend this down. This is called improvisation, or something to that effect. Now see, the wire going into the back would be a lot less obtrusive than the rod. So I'm going to... Now the reason the upper part is moving is because this whole thing is adjustable. There we go. Easy at the right angle. See, the center of gravity has to be from his little nap in his between his collarbones right down to the center of his foot, and that's the center of gravity. I'm going to move it forward just a little bit. And see, that takes the movement back and forth out of the armature, so that gives me plenty of strength for these. Alright, so tomorrow I'll start adding clay to this. What I'm going to do is get the skeletal structure started, because he's skinny and his bones will be showing through his body, upper body, a little bit more than somebody with a lot of muscle. I mean, he's going to be hard, but in a kind of a real fibery way. At least that's what my vision is right now. And I'm going to want to make a jig for the head, so I can work on the head separate from the body. And a wire for that's back at the studio, and I need to get that tomorrow. I probably won't be moving into my studio for another week. Maybe 2. I'm going to wait till it starts warming up. It's still too darn cold out here. It's getting down in the teens at night. So, alright. That's the beginning of Morning Joe. At least that's the way I'm thinking about it right now. I'm not going to do anything with that hand or this arm here until I get this all sketched in, and then I figure out what I'm going to do exactly. I might just have him, like in the picture itself, he's got his arms crossed, and he could be just put his arm across and hold on to this arm while holding on to his shirt. His hat will be tilted back on his head or just hanging off on his back. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. So that's it for now on Morning Joe and the beginning of a new piece. It's going to be a cowboy piece this time, instead of a Indian piece. Alright guys, have a great night.